17 points almost, 9 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.2 steals, 0.7 blocks, shooting 52.4% overall. Like, I don't think he was supposed to be this good of a scorer right away, right? Scottie Barnes, I think, has probably been the biggest surprise of the season so far, in terms of rookies at least. 17 points almost, 9 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.2 steals, 0.7 blocks, shooting 52.4% overall. Like, I don't think he was supposed to be this good of a scorer right away, right? Like, his energy and the defense were his selling points. And I got, like, Patrick Williams, how he was being described last year seemed like how people were describing Scottie Barnes this year, except Scottie took advantage. Pascal was out. Obviously, he just made his return the other day, or his season debut the other day. So he took advantage of the opportunity there with Pascal out. And, Nick Nurse, for whatever reason, hates Chris Boucher. So he's going to be in and out of the lineup. Like, there wasn't much in terms of proven scoring talent in the front court.
No.
Scottie immediately, I mean, dating back to Summer League in the preseason, like, this kid just has had that, now you're seeing why Toronto took him at 4 instead of Jalen Suggs.
This is where mental evaluation means a lot. Like, just gauging how a player is functioning in terms of how he cognitively recognizes the game. Because, in college, we saw Scottie Barnes play the Patrick Williams role. You're absolutely right. And that was kind of the word coming in was, he's probably going to be one of those utility players. Like, I saw Boris Diaw comps a lot for Scottie Barnes. He just kind of said, no, don't you dare put that ceiling on me. I'm going to come out, I'm going to score, and I'm going to be aggressive. And the thing that has me very intrigued by him is, one thing is he's aggressive, but he's also patient. And, like, it sounds contradictory, but it's really not. Like, you can both play aggressive basketball while you're still being patient on waiting a play to develop, and then you take advantage. He's just not a guy who stands around. That's what I like about it. Like, he came in and said, I'm not going to be the guy who's like the token fifth starter who's just stands around and passes the ball every once in a while. No, I'm going to do a lot. I'm going to rebound. I am going to run in transition. I am going to get to the basket. I am going to dunk in your face. I'm going to take pull-up mid-rangers, even though I didn't even prove to have that shot in my bag in college. I mean,
right.
If there ever was a time for a rookie to win Most Improved, this is it.
Yeah, based on the perception of him coming in versus what he's actually proved to be, I think.
And compared to what he did in college, like,
right.
This Most Improved ever for a rookie. Like, this is Scottie Barnes, hands down. Like, the dude barely averaged 10 points in college.
Yeah. Well, this is where, there's always the conversation about, like, motor, especially with big men coming into the draft. And Scottie Barnes is like, this guy has a Energizer Bunny motor. Like, he just is so relentless. He does not stop. He runs the floor hard. And it sounds stupid, right? Like, oh, he runs hard. So, wow, that makes him a good player. But it does. If you're forcing other teams, especially in the regular season, when you're on the back-to-back and you're shorthanded for whatever reason, like, you don't want to exert that much energy on the court on every single possession. Well, if you don't, when you're playing Scottie Barnes and the Raptors, he's going to outrun you. He's going to create easy opportunities in transition. He's going to get easy dunks, easy layups, easy run-out opportunities. Like, he makes the rest of the team that much better because of his energy.
Yeah.
And it's another selling point to him. So I think going back to, we were talking Rookie of the Year odds, I hear you. I agree. Like, right now, if I'm making my board, Devin Mobley number 1, Scottie Barnes number 2, and there's a pretty sizable gap between those two guys and anyone else. But
I'm not even sure I'm taking Mobley first if we're just looking at Roy. I mean, those two are super interchangeable. Can we do the Elton Brand, Steve Francis co-Rookie of the Year? It's been a while.
I mean, at this point, if you maybe pick 10 games into the season, I'd probably do a split ticket.
Right. Yeah. Also, by the way, your motor point is very well received, and it's something that I saw it in, and I think most of us saw it defensively from him at Florida State. Like, the motor was pretty apparent. It was just that when it came time to the offensive end, the motor kind of stopped. or it at least had a couple of hiccups. But that just hasn't happened in the league. And I wonder if that's another sign that college basketball, the style of college basketball, can just be so additionally deceptive of how it is in the NBA, because it's very zone heavy. It's different looks, whereas in the NBA, which is very pick and roll dominated and has a more spaced out floor, maybe that just gives guys like Scottie Barnes, who knows how to handle the ball, those open driving lanes. Maybe there's a component there. I mean, hell, we saw it with Donovan Mitchell as well. Like, he was perfectly fine at Louisville, but teams still underestimated how good he'd be. He was drafted 13th, I want to say, and came in and averaged 20 because the floor was more widened. I mean, he didn't have that, he didn't go up against zone defenses all the time. Like, he would get a major screen from Gobert, it would just be downhill in a New York second, right? I think it's called New York minute. Why second? I don't know. But you know what I mean, though. Like, it's very quick. And I think that's the same with Scottie Barnes. So maybe, like, moving forward when evaluating college players, you just have to, in some capacity, ignore offense. And, like, if a guy isn't that good offensively in college, maybe you just kind of put less stock of that into your pre-draft analysis. Well,
I think you at least have to ignore, like, raw totals, like points per game. Because, I mean, we saw this with Devin Booker at Kentucky as well, and even Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, 10 points a game. Yeah, like 11, 10, somewhere around there. And then, number one pick is dropping like 25 and 10 in the NBA. So I think when you're evaluating these guys, you have to look more at raw skill in terms of, okay, what can this guy do? What types of shots is he able to hit? Can he create off the dribble? How does he play defense? How is he as a playmaker? Rather than how many points did he score? How many assists did he average? How many rebounds did he get? Because, like, that, I know there are certain stats that tend to translate better than others to the NBA. Like, free throw percentage is not going to change a ton. I think rebound, I know Kevin Pelton of ESPN has done work on this in the past. I think he said rebounding tends to translate pretty well. But yeah, I mean, you raise a really good point. Like, if a guy averages 10 points a game in college, it doesn't necessarily disqualify him from being a top 5 pick. It just might be the role that his team was asking him to play.
Yeah.
And it raises the question, like, well, why aren't they asking him to be a star scorer? But, it maybe that just wasn't how their team was best equipped. But once he gets to the NBA, he's able to.
Yeah. And that goes back also to Tyrese Maxey, because like, the reason that he dropped, and I was one of those guys, I'll admit that, when I was watching him, I was like, oh, can he shoot in the NBA? Didn't matter. And, like, here in year 2, he's been doing fine. Like, he's still not a high volume 3-point shooter whatsoever. But that wasn't really the point. It was his motor. Like, and we all saw his motor and went, wow, that is, I mean, like, that was good. He has a good motor on him. But is that enough? Yeah, it was.
As it turns out,
as it was, because what he could use the motor to really assert that energy and get the dribble drives going. He could get to the basket, and we've been so brainwashed lately by looking at strictly 3-point field goal percentage and 3-point field goal volume that we just kind of said, oh well, if he doesn't check that little box, how can he ever be a reliable NBA player? Like, he went 21st in the draft. He should have gone lottery. Not when you look at him. So yeah, I think there are a lot of misconceptions that we need to clear up when it comes to college players. And to be fair, there are certainly a lot of draft people out there much smarter than you and I in terms of the draft and how to evaluate and scout and all that. But I still think it's interesting that it seems like we learn something collectively every single year about what to take serious and what not to take serious when it comes to pre-draft analysis.